Hello and welcome to the course preview of the Americas Triathlon Cup in St. Peters, Missouri. It was an in-water start for this race, but I have heard rumors that they might do a beach start in the future. They just have to kind of fill out the beach with a little bit of sand because it's a little too muddy to run into. But it was an in-water start for the elite races. As you can see, it's a lake swim, pretty flat, nothing too crazy. We just went over the mountain line here, out of transition area, and this is not a super technical bike course. It is not a flow-through transition. You bike past the transition every single lap, and then it's only on the last lap you come into transition area. Right here, I'm following pro triathlete Mark Dubrick just ahead of me. I'm going to try and keep up with him for a lap of this bike course. It is a 4-lap 5K course. 4 laps of 5 kilometers for the sprint distance. So you're going to do each lap, go past the transition area, and it's only on the last lap where you come into the transition area. And I'll show you that. It's a little technical, a little left, then a right, then a left. Coming in the transition area, but you only do that after the last lap. So it's kind of hard to tell, but this is just ever so slightly a hill as you're coming out of transition area. So it's just going to make that first little bit of the bike, first couple hundred meters, that much more fun and painful, just coming up this slight hill, and then you make a little bit of a left-hand turn. There's kind of a crack in the road, but honestly not too bad. And just about this whole course, you are having two-way traffic, so you're going to be biking down, and then you'll be eventually biking back on the other side of the road. So as you can see, there's some cones down the center of this course the whole way, so just be mindful of that. Here you are. It's a best way to describe it. It's somewhat of a Y-shaped course with 3 U-turns at each end of the course. So about, I'm going to say 800 meters in, maybe about a kilometer, you come up to this first U-turn, kind of in a little parking lot area, so you have to go a little bit to the left. As you can see, there's some grass in the middle, and then you can see all the riders ahead making this pretty wide U-turn, but there is a little bit of gravel. You can see right there, they filled in some potholes. It was raining a lot, so yeah, but there were no problems with that turn during the race as far as I know. But yeah, it's that first U-turn, so you never know what could happen. Who you're with, just always watch out and be careful and mindful of everyone else around you. And then you are coming up this road, and there's sort of a small hill. It's honestly more like a bump, to be honest, but it's only about 50 meters long, really, of the actual incline part. And I'd say it's probably about 3% gradient, depending on which side you're on. But this little bump is kind of in the center of that Y shape that this course is, and you go up it and down it 3 times. So as I said before, it's in the center of that Y, if you can imagine, where all the legs kind of stick out. So we're going up that short little hill. You can see a couple riders ahead just standing up to get a little more speed going up this hill, and it kind of curves to the left. And yeah, a little bit of a crack in the road on that one section of road, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. You'll probably not even notice it during the race. But yeah, we're just going up this hill, and then you kind of come down the hill and you go to the second U-turn of the course. This one is on the main entrance road to the park. There's those little planter boxes or something, I don't know what they are. Big cement boxes, kind of in the middle of the course, but honestly, the road's so wide, not even an issue. Look at up here, we got pro triathlete Dar Smith of the United States of America, looking good in his white helmet. We'll watch him take this U-turn like a pro. Look at that. Easy. Sprinting out of the turn, picking up a little speed. This is actually a really good spot where you can see how far the groups are ahead of you, or if you're ahead, how far the groups are behind you on this section of the course. As you can see, it's really clear and really easy to see the people who are there. And then you go up this little hill again, the same one you just went down. This is probably the shortest out and back section of the course. So yeah, this one, I guess it's somewhat a more technical part of the course because you have this sweeping left-hand turn. During the race, we were going about 28 to 30 miles an hour on this left-hand turn. Here we're definitely going a little bit slower just because we're in a huge pack. But yeah, just ever so slightly down that little hill. And this is probably the fastest part of the course in the elite men's race, hitting speeds over 30 miles an hour. So yeah, it was, nice little turn, but again, it's not too rough. If it was wet, probably would be a different story. There was kind of inclement weather leading up to the race. As you can see, it's a beautiful clear sky right now. And it was very similar to this for the race, but actually 2 hours before there was lightning and thunderstorms. And I guess that's just common in Missouri. So just if you're thinking about doing this race, I would advise be prepared for anything. Bring a rain jacket, bring wet clothes, bring clothes for it being super sunny and warm like this, shorts and a t-shirt. Just bring a variety of clothes because the weather in Missouri is quite unpredictable. It could be pouring rain 1 minute and then really nice and sunny and warm the next minute. I thought the course was going to be wet for our race for sure because it was pouring down just a couple hours before, but it was actually just about as dry as it is right now for our race. So that just shows you how the weather kind of goes. This is the longest out and back section of the course. So this is approaching the third U-turn. And then after we go around this U-turn, you're going to be heading back to a transition area. This road kind of snakes a little bit. No real turns in that. It just kind of curves slightly. And then there's a couple center divider bits that you kind of just have to go slightly left or slightly right around, depending on the side of the road. But yeah, not a very technical course, just a classic 3 U-turn 5K course. So yeah, just one of those courses, not a lot to talk about. The roads are really nicely paved, hardly any bumps, hardly any potholes. It's really just the U-turns. There's a little bit of gravel, but nothing too crazy. And actually, I'd like to mention, if you are from the United States, from Canada, from a lot of different countries, you'll see we're biking on the wrong side of the road for us. But if you're from South Africa, I think the UK, Japan, Australia, you're biking on the right side of the road. So that's something to keep in mind. All these U-turns are right-hand U-turns. So typically in American courses, you ride the normal way of traffic, which is on the right side of the road. But here, as you can see, we're on the left side of the road. So that was something kind of interesting. And if you're from one of those faraway countries, from the US at least, like Australia or South Africa, and you guys are used to riding on this side of the road, then maybe it's an advantage. Who knows? But honestly, I don't know if it would make too big of a difference in the race. So that was the third U-turn. That one, I'd say, is probably the slowest U-turn of the course just because it's the narrowest. So yeah, a little bit sketchy there with some gravel, but it's honestly not too bad. This whole course is pretty straightforward. Oh, look at Mark Dubrick sliding through there in between those two athletes. But yeah, just trying to keep up with him, really. He's so fast. On the Real Tri Squad, also races 70.3s, just an all-around good athlete. So this is the longest straight, in quotations, section of the course. After that third U-turn, you go past the transition area, and then you go up the little hill, and then slightly to the left, that first U-turn. It's about 2 kilometers long, so this is where you can really get your group to work together because there's nothing to interrupt you except for arguments in the back. So yeah, if you can really try and get your group to work together on this section of road, it's the longest section, uninterrupted by U-turns, so hopefully you can get some cohesion if you're thinking about some race strategy for this race. But yeah, this course is really straightforward. The run, you actually go out the same part you go out on for the bike. So you run the same exact direction as the first part of the bike course. You just make a left-hand turn about, I don't know, a K down the road, maybe 800 meters down the road, and you go into this little cycle path, but it's just kind of like a little oval-shaped course. You run through the transition area, but not quite through where the bikes are, just kind of to the side. So this is Drew Schellenberger. I'm going to follow him through that little chicane I was talking to you about, left and then a right. This is only done after your last lap when you return to the transition area. A little bit technical, and it's definitely good to be positioned at the front of the group. This is the mount line that I'm pointing to right there for the elite race, and then you get off your bike, run it around here, and then you rack your bikes in this section, and then you go out onto the run. This was a really fun course, and I hope to race here in the future. If you found this video helpful, like it, share it with some of your friends, and maybe I'll see you in Missouri one of these years.